Hello everyone, I'm going to talk about the security part, and there are some very important keywords in the security. One is like JWT, session or author 2, cookie, SSO. So let's start from the first one, which is called the JWT, JSON Web Token. This is the stateless authentication mechanism after a user logs in. The server issues a signed token containing user's information. The client signed this token with each request, usually in the authorization header. Since the server only needs to verify the signature, it does not store session data, which makes JWT suitable for distributed system and microservice. JWT lets you identify travel the web security. So let's start from the structure of a JSON web token. This is a JSON web token look like. It combined with 3 parts and separate them with the $sign. So the first part about this is called header, and the header include the algorithm type type JWT here, and this blue one is called payload. It includes information about the client part, like current. It's more about just the information about the client user's information and what he wants, some detailed part. And the last part is called signature. It's kind of like a key, right? It's kind of like which is called security key, and it's where just signed with the security and generate new key for here to make sure this one is it's not duplicate. It's a safe security. It's safe. And normally this signature is from the authentication server. So let's see stuff from here. There's normal way to do the signature. The first one is called symmetry key, which is simpler and faster. This is JWT token, right? Signed with JWT with the secret key. This secret key, when you write it, for example, in the Spring Boot applications, you have to define what your secret key, and it's where, for example, I suppose my secret key is like today. So they will use some way to hash it to generate the signature based on the security key, which means it's identified, right? It's a unique. And then they will share the security with the other servers, and other servers pay the algorithm to verify the key whether it's a modify or not modify, whether it's valid. So use this way to check. And another way, which is called symmetry key, we have the JWT provider, right? Sign the JWT with the private key, and which means we have the new thing here, and it will send in signed JWT and also with the public key. And other servers use the public key to validate or current JWT key is valid or not. So there are 2 ways to do this. And this one you need to use the public key to store somewhere, so it will take more time. But for the symmetric, let me double check. Symmetric key, it will be faster. So this is called the JWT. Let's see, for the signed JWT provide authentication authorizations information change. And the JWT authentication no separate storage needed. Invalid of the JWT is not easy, and scale event and servers is easy. So it's very good in the microservice architecture project. So let's start from this one, go how its workflow. So for example, user, right, log in, and this will go to the API gateway. I think this one is better not use this. It will go to the API gateway, and then it will do the authentication in the other servers. And our servers will create and assign the JWT and return back to the gateway, and the gateway will send it to the user. And the user will store the JWT with the token and prepare for the next time to access the page. And it will kind of like user with the JWT send another request, go to the API gateway. API will send it the cookie and then go to the backend servers to verify the JWT and then respond the data and go to the user. So this is the kind of like how it works. We also can use this way to show up. The first thing is user, right? Login, and based on the username, password, and the server validate of current user exists, password is okay. And it will create and assign the JWT with secret word. It will return back, right? It will return, send it back to the user. This one, send it back to the user, and user from the user side, it will store the JWT locally and prepare for the next time to send in the request. And the users will send in the request with this JWT token, send it to the server. And servers will verify the signatures, some information to check whether it's valid. So if it passed the check, which means, you can keep doing some requests to access some specific resource, and then it will return back the response to the user. So this is workflow about the JWT. So I think I need to change somewhere here is, I think this gateway is coming here. It's a login. We just normally we just have one gateway, and sending to go to the authorization here, access page. I use it this way to do it. And for the next one, sorry. For here, we also have another thing need to talk about is what is good, what is the disadvantage. For the advantage is self-contained, portable, and don't require server-side storage. From the server side, we don't create extra database to store the JWT token. So what about the disadvantage? Disadvantage because if anyone who gets the JWT token, it can fully access to the resource, which means if the hacker gets the JWT, it can copy that JWT to send in the server to get something. So it's very dangerous. So there have some solution to solve this. One is called the short-lived access token. Like we have just 15 minutes. When you over the time, you have to refresh the token to get it. And for this one is the sending the refresh token is from the authentic server, is from the backend, is not from the user side. So use this way to prevent the hacker. Okay, so that's the key concept which is called session. So what is session? A session is server-side mechanism for maintaining user state. After authentication, the server creates a session object and stores it, and then send the session ID to the client, usually via the cookie. Each request includes this ID, allowing the server to identify the user. Sessions are simple and security, but less scalable in distributed environments. So let's see about the session-based authentication. It separates storage required for the store session information here. And invalid or session is easy. Scaling also involved the session store. Okay, so let's go through this way. So user log in to the API way, and it will call into the authentication servers. And the servers, based on the user's information, it will create the session. And for the sessions, we have the specific database to store the session and then return back to the user. And the user's next time to access page, it will send in the sessions for the backend servers. And the backend servers will also to verify the sessions, whether it's express or whether it's good, to check in the database. And then if it passes, return the response to the user. So like this way. So this is not good when the microservice, because you have a lot of servers, right? Too many sessions, you have to access the database. So sometimes it will encounter some problem. So in the very big microservice architecture projects, normal will use the session and the JWT token used at the same time. So next one. Next one is called Auth0. Auth0 is an authorization framework that allows the third-party application to access users' resources without exposing the user's credentials. Instead of sharing the password, the user gains permissions, and the authorization server issue an access token that the client can use to call protect APIs. So let's start from here. It's an example to show how it works. So for example, user, right? It has use the snap, and for now I want to use this is called print machine. I want print machine to print my image on the snap this app. So how it works? So user will send this request to the print magic. And then print magic need to send in the request from the Snapstore authentication based on client ID scope, and then Snapstore authorizations will send the request, whether sending to the user to get some permissions, right? It's kind of like send, current now print magic want to access some specific page, are you allowed? And then users will approve that request and send it back to the Snapstore authorization. And the Snapstore authorizations will get the approval. It will say permission. It will send in the print magic, which is permission granted, and with the authorization code. And now print magic gets the access token. And also he got all the informations, authorization code, client ID, client security. It will send in the request to the Snapstore authentication to get some token. And the Snapstore, based on this one, is to check, okay, it's okay. And then it will send in the token to the print magic. Now print magic, it has the permission to access the Snap resource. It will call in another request to fetch in the specific photos, and then Snapstore resource will return the photos to the print magic. So during this way, it's called the blue part is called Auth0 24. Oh, not 24, it's author 2. Let me practice this.
OAuth. OAuth.
No, not OAuth.
Auth.
Auth, okay. So next one is the key concept is called cookie. So a cookie is a small piece of data stored in the browser and automatically send every request to the same domain. It's not an authentication method itself, but it's storage mechanism. Cookie often stores session IDs, JWT, or users prefers to maintain the state between the requests. Okay, so next concept is called the SSO. Okay, SSO I think is the last one. So what is SSO? SSO means the single sign-on allow the user to log in once and access multiple independent applications without authenticating. A central identified provider authentication the user and issue a token that trust system accepted. SSO improve user experience and centralized security management. So this is which called the single sign-on. Yep, the purpose here is a single sign-on allow the user to log in once and access multiple applications. So how it work? So let's start from for here. User, right? We have the service provider like Gmail from the Google, or the Workday something. You will see some login pages. So user will current how I want to log in and enter this username, user email address, and send it here. And then the Gmail will return the SAR to the browser. SAR means the SAML authentication requires, which is the documents to talk to. This is kind of like it's called the identity provider for here. And now the user will forward SAR to the identity provider for the OKTA, this one. And then identity provider will sending the show login pages to the user. And the user finish the login, it will sending the log credential for the identity provider. And then the identify checking is check it and return the signed this one. This one is already signed, which the XML document and the user information and what the user can access and signature. When you log in something, you can see from the Google account, it will have multiple options, whether allowed to access a candidate email and some notes. So that happens here. And then the user will sign the SAML. It's called what? Assertion. Return back to the identified provider. And then the identity provider will validate the SAR assertion. Oh my God, sorry.
Assertio.
No, assertio.
Assertion.
And based on how it works, it will checking for use the public key, to verify whether it's this one is the modified or not. If past the valid date, it will return the protected resource to the user. So it is how it works. So next time, the user, for now, you already passed the SSO login in through the Gmail. And now we want to also log in the page, which is called the Workday, right? So enter this one, or current I want to log in here. And then it's a service provider will also return the SAR to the browser. And the browser needs to forward this one to the identity provider. But based on the previous, we already already validate and log in here. So which means it will skip the log process. It will skip a lot of those things and return the sign as AML accession. Assertion, SAM assertion, return back to the user, and the user will forward this document as AML authentication requires to the service provider, and provider will validate this one, and if it passed the validate, it will get the access to the user, and it will log in. So this is how it works. And for the service provider, there are many, like Gmail, Workday, Slack, a lot of. And for what about the authentication process? There are two ways. One is this one, which is called security. Sorry, I forgot again. Assertion marked language. It's based on this XML file to write something. For example, Box, Zoom, Dropbox is also used this way. And another thing is called the OpenID connection based on the JWT. It's use the Google account to sign in like YouTube. And normally the Google product, YouTube is also belong to the Google company. So most of the Google product, they use this way. Yeah, this is about the security part. Thank you.